Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a diff breather mod. But before we start, I'm going to show you exactly what you need. Any metric wrenches will work. This is for a Toyota. Just your standard zip ties here, and I'm using a brass fuel hose connector as the union. So, and a 8 feet of 1/4 inch fuel line, and this is going to help keep the breather away from the differential in case any of you guys go off-roading and you guys are worried about your differential sucking water back into the actual differential itself, and having to change fluid all the time. So without further ado, here we go. So right over here is the differential in the rear, and there is your diff breather right here. So before we get started, if you don't want any of these dirt, rocks, and anything like that to fall in it, you want to go ahead and spray around the area. I don't want to get anything under it, so here we go. All right, and I'm just using mass airflow cleaner. You can use carb cleaner or anything. I'm just using this because it dries up really fast, even though it's ridiculously cold out here. All right, next I'm going to grab a 14mm wrench and just go ahead and start removing the original diff breather. Now you don't have to use a wrench like I am. I know some of you guys got them cool tools out there, but this is just for the the weekend do-it-yourselfer. So all right. Sorry about the camera shaking. I'm doing this all one-handed. All right, so once we have this off, you can go ahead and hold on to that. You're not going to get rid of that. Sorry about the focus, guys. And we're going to come in here and go ahead and put in your 1/4 inch brass, or your union right here. All right, once you got it in there and seated, let's go ahead and take this one. Happens to be an 11mm, so we're gonna get this screwed on nice and tight. Don't go too far in. I tried to get one as close to the length of the original diff breather as I could. So, oof, it's kind of tough to do this one-handed. So, give me a second. I'll be back once this is down. All right. So we got it sitting down in there about 4 or 5 threads. It got pretty hard. So we're gonna take our 1/4 inch fuel line with the hose clamp on there, and I'll link everything in the description. Everything's pretty cheap. So we're gonna come up here and go ahead and fasten it. All right. There we go. Now we're gonna tighten this up. All right, so now that we got it nice and snug, and as you can see, I'm gonna pull on it and it won't come off. You want it to be nice and tight. And here's the fun part. Now we're gonna take and zip tie. I'm probably gonna go along this. Looks like it's actually an ABS line, but for those of you that have the off-road edition, you guys have the e-lockers, you guys can go ahead and put the hose along those the wires. And most important part is leave some slack, because if you're going to do any kind of off-roading where your axle and all this is going to, if it's going to flex from the body, you'll want that slack. You don't want to tear this out. So show you what we get. All right, so just to show you what I did, so we finished tightening this hose clamp down, and I got it running along these lines for the sensors over here, and I have the zip tied here and one more right here. And for the rest of the hose, we're going to feed up over the fuel tank. All right, next step, go ahead and put a pinch in. All right, so excuse the mess on the truck. I go off-road plenty. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create an opening in this here plastic so that we can feed the breather in here, so where it's always going to be clean. You know, there's going to be no mud's going to get in here. I mean, I can't guarantee it if you do that kind of serious mudding, but this will really help you out, other than the diff breather being down there. So take off the fuel cap, and we're going to unscrew these. Okay, that one didn't want to come out. Hopefully we don't strip this one. Yeah, we did. Get a wrench. Looks like a 10mm. Take that out. Alright, so we got this off. Now we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and shimmy this guy out of here. Alright, so that gives us access to the port of entry to bring the hose line up here. Alright, so right there's the top of the fuel tank, where we put the rest of the hose. Now I'm gonna go off camera, but I'm actually gonna reach in there because it's a little rough doing this one-handed and feeding it without removing any panels up to the entry right up here. So I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought. So let me take this glove off for a second. So I pulled the fuel line up, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and pass it right back here, and you're gonna see it in a second right up here. So I'm just gonna keep feeding it until I can get my hands on it right over here. Alright, and here it is. Alright, get ready for the next part. Alright, so next thing we're gonna do, we actually got a 1/4-inch drill bit, and we're gonna go ahead and place a hole about right here. At least this is where I've seen it done on the forums. Much credit goes out to those guys. So, and that's where we're gonna put the hose. Alright, so I'm gonna show you what I got here. So I drilled the hole and I put the breather in there to make sure it doesn't go past the nut, but it's definitely on there. So now we're gonna go ahead and connect the 1/4-inch fuel line to it, and we're gonna hose clamp it, and then I'm gonna show you what to do with all the slack. Alright guys, so I just finished getting the give me a second to focus here, the hose clamp on the other side of this, and we got the diff breather mounted on this inner plastic to the gas tank. Alright, so if you look down underneath, this is right in front of the rear tire. There's the actual plastic outer, and you see that there's this little it's like I'm using it as just like a little holder, but that way, in case of too much flex, I don't have to worry about ripping those ABS lines. So this is the slack that I'm gonna have right up here, and we're gonna zip tie it along the actual fuel filler neck right up there, and then we're just gonna fasten it all up. Show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so I got it zip tied to this this metal. Looks like it's part of the evap system, but it's yeah, I assure you it's metal and it's not going anywhere. And then we're gonna button it all up. So here we go. And there you have it. There's your diff breather, way up high, where you don't have to worry about it sucking in any water, mud, any kind of debris. And thanks again for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel, go ring the bell. You'll be notified whenever I post the videos. But I'm kind of one of those guys that'll do something as cheap as possible, but also without jeopardizing the integrity of the whole operation. So there you have it. Hey, thanks again. One more thing to note, on the other side of this, in order to get that hose clamp on, And to get that hose on, I did have to make 2 small incisions about a 1/4 inch long to get the hose onto the fitting itself before clamping it down. So there it is.